Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everyone? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. Now, if you are an Eagles fan out there and you are excited for the upcoming NFL draft, I'm going to need you to go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to stay updated on some great Philly content, we'll go ahead and hit that subscribe. So today I want to talk about a topic that has really been on my mind for a couple days. I've been going back and forth. I am torn right now. The question is Carson Wentz a top 5 NFL quarterback right now? I've heard a lot of different mixed opinions on this question. It's really hard to decipher when you take into account all the factors. So I'm going to try my best to explain how I feel about this situation. First off, I think it's important to understand what my definition of, a top NFL quarterback is, an upper echelon quarterback, because I feel like that kind of differs throughout people's opinions. Like some people might look at wins, some people might look at personal stats, others might look at leadership, how they take over in certain situations, like what they can do on the field, what makes them special. There's a whole bunch of things to look at. In my personal opinion, I try to look at it as a culmination of all those things, but of course, some takes the higher status. Like in my opinion, I think a quarterback's ability not only to take leadership and take accountability in certain situations, step up and be that dude is one of the most important things, but it's also, the unique things, the special things that make them stand out, that make them them. Now, when it comes to Carson Wentz, I've stated this, like Carson Wentz is one of those dudes, in my opinion, like one of maybe 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that does those special things, that does the things outside of the norm that make you really open your eyes, really make you take a double take. Like, did he really just do that? Like the throw to Miles Sanders in the end zone, or a couple of the throws we've seen to Corey Clement, or just go throughout his 2017 season. Some of the things that he was doing, escaping from the pocket, that little lob to Darren Sproles down the sideline. Like, what Carson Wentz can do is undoubtedly special. And I stated this a couple videos back when I said that people compare him to Nick Foles, and I said that, you got to let it go. Carson Wentz is very special, and the things he can do are unbelievable, and we have to realize that. So with that, I think Carson Wentz, even though people will say, he can't stay healthy, he can't be that dude come playoff time, I kind of put that to bed, because what I saw this past season, and I stated this as well, with guys like Greg Ward, with guys like Deontay Burnett at wideout, right? Carson Wentz completely took over. He didn't have any of the weapons that he really wanted. Maybe Miles Sanders, I guess. But, guys like Boston Scott who weren't even on the team, they come in and he takes over and really steps up to be that dude. He stepped up to be that dude. I don't care who we were playing down the stretch. The fact of the matter is that Carson Wentz single-handedly put the team on his back and went out and won those games and led us to the playoffs in a season where we thought everything was done. We were done. After that Miami game, it was over. So I take that into account, and I think Carson Wentz has gotten up on my board. And in my opinion, if I had to name the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, in my personal opinion, Patrick Mahomes is obviously number 1 right now. He's proven it. He's done it. Russell Wilson falls into number 2. And the reason I say this is because he's consistently done it at a high level. He hasn't even really had a number 1 receiver. If you go and think about it, like Doug Baldwin? Come on, like Russell Wilson, not only has he done it without a number 1, but he can roam the pocket. He has one of the best deep balls I've seen, like maybe with my own eyes. Like Russell Wilson is consistently a leader, and he does it for that squad. So I think he should be number 2. Now, number 3, 4, 5, and 6 to me is where it gets very tricky. The 4 dudes I have in mind that could fall in those slots are Carson Wentz, Drew Brees, Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers. I think all of these guys are leaders. I think all of these guys do special things. The part where it gets hard to decipher who is better than who is looking at who has what, right? So look at Drew Brees. He has Sean Payton. He's had in the last couple years, look at it. He's had Mark Ingram. He's had Alvin Kamara. He has Michael Thomas. The dude doesn't drop anything. He's one of the best receivers in the league. He has a solid tight end in Jared Cook. He has a good line. Drew Brees has completed over 70% of his passes for 4 years straight. He's went to the playoffs. He's had a couple unlucky turns here in the last couple years. You know, the Minneapolis Miracle, and then the Rams pass interference with Nickel Roby-Coleman. And then this past year, in my opinion, that push off by Kyle Rudolph was probably an offensive pass interference. But we'll get into that another day. But I think Drew Brees has done it consistently at a high level. He is 40 years old now. He even said he's going to go to NBC when he retires. But it's hard to decipher, you know, could Drew Brees do this without these kind of weapons? Look at Tom Brady. His arm is dying. He's not, in my opinion, a top 5 quarterback anymore because he doesn't really have that ammunition. And maybe he would be if he did have, but who knows? For me, I'm going to put Drew Brees at number 3 for now, just because I think he continues to excel. I think Drew Brees is a professional. I think he's continued to show that he can do it, and I think he's going to at least do it for another year or two. I think they'll win probably 12 games this year. Again, it's hard to understand because he has so many weapons around him, but I'll put him at number 3 because that's all I know right now. It's Drew Brees with, you know, what he has. Number 4 for me is where I'm going to put Carson Wentz, and this is very ballsy, I understand, because he really hasn't had that playoff experience. He had it this year, and then he got hurt, which was unfortunate. But I think if you look at what Carson Wentz has done, right? You know, 27 touchdowns this year, 7 interceptions, over 4,000 yards, and not only over 4,000 yards, but no wide receiver had over 500 yards. And yes, I will stress these names over and over. Greg Ward, Deontay Burnett. Like, look at the dudes that he was throwing the ball to. No Alshon, no Deshaun, right? Ertz was banged up. I mean, Goddard isn't used, right? Not only that, his offensive line, like, no one on the offense, except for, like, what, 1 or 2 guys played throughout the season and didn't get hurt. Like, I know it's hard because there's so many injuries and this is football. But what Carson Wentz was able to do, it's not like he just bummed out. The Eagles won 7 games and it was a season done. He showed me so much leadership, the way he was able to rally the troops. That was kind of my question. I know he's special. I know from 17 and 18 before he was hurt. Look at the plays he was able to make. Like, he has that special talent, that capability that you really don't see a lot. That thing that you can't teach. I just wanted to know the leadership aspect. I wanted him to answer the question, to get it done when it mattered late in the season. And this season, he really did show me that. And I think Carson Wentz right now, his prime is coming. His peak is coming. Like I said, people have to appreciate this dude. It's not a problem that we had Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. It is a blessing in disguise. Foles did his job, won the Super Bowl. It is Carson Wentz's time. This draft is so key. We have to give him receivers. We've upgraded the defense. If we give him the right weapons, I am telling you, this will be a top 5 team. We will run deep into the playoffs because Carson Wentz is that dude. He has answered those questions. And I honestly think right now it is very close. I'm telling you, it's very close, but he is a top 5 quarterback. In my opinion, Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback, and we need to give him the respect he deserves. Also, when I look at top 5 quarterbacks, I look at the forward. I look at the future perspective. Drew Brees isn't going to be around long. I understand that. But I still have him at number 3. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, they're getting older. We've seen a decline, and we'll get to him in a second. But the reason at number 5, here it is. At number 5, I put Lamar Jackson. And I know he's kind of a system kind of dude. John Harbaugh has done an amazing job. They've had a stellar defense. They've had a lot of weapons around him. But like I said, my definition of a top quarterback is not only the leadership, but you're able to do things that are uncharacteristic of most. And what I saw from Lamar Jackson this season, he led the league in touchdown passes and at the same time rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's like a better Michael Vick. The dude was literally unstoppable. Now, I will be honest, I do expect my projection of Lamar maybe to drop this season, because I know teams are going to figure him out. They're going to put on display, that tape against the Tennessee Titans all off season, because what they did is completely stop him in his tracks. They sent the pressure and they got to him. And we saw what happened. I'll put Lamar Jackson for now at number 5. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is at number 6. Aaron Rodgers, I love Aaron Rodgers. I respect him. He is one of the greatest talents to ever touch a football. And he can do the craziest things that are, like I said, uncharacteristic. But this last season, like I said, I look towards the future. And this last season, Aaron Rodgers, even though the Packers went 13-3, even though Aaron Rodgers still had, 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, I just didn't see that oomph that I usually see from Aaron Rodgers. I didn't see that special Aaron Rodgers this year. I know it's in part because they added a running game for once in his career, which they should have done before. I know they have a new system with Matt LaFleur. I understand that they finally added a defense. So, Aaron Rodgers doesn't always have to be the hero. He doesn't have to win the game. But honestly, I'm not going to say a decline, but I saw a little decrease, a little old age starting to creep up with Aaron Rodgers. And don't get me wrong, the Packers will be fine. They will win over 10 games this year. They will be just fine. But I just saw a little decrease in Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's going to continue, even though I still think he's special and he can do, those type of crazy things that will win games. So it's crazy to me, but I'm actually going to put Aaron Rodgers 6th right now in terms of quarterbacks. Now, that is my top 5, right? So Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Carson Wentz at 4, and then Lamar Jackson, and Aaron Rodgers is 6. A couple other notable mentions, just so you don't think I'm leaving them out, that are very close. Deshaun Watson, and another one that I'll give you that's very underrated in my opinion, Matt Stafford. He's another dude. I think Stafford can ball, but he's just never been given the help, the support, and the Lions are a mess. I hope he gets out of there soon. But overall, right now, as we look towards the future, I think this is going to, be a big jumble. I think a lot of dudes are going to move up and down, especially this year. It's going to prove a lot of things. I wish Wentz would have stayed healthy so we could have seen, the playoffs. But I don't, it's very, very hard to decipher. I just think that Carson Wentz gets underappreciated and gets underrespected. And I think the things that this dude can do on a football field are insane. I pointed this out, when he had Frank Reich, when he had John DeFilippo, look what he was doing in 2017. He was a tier above everyone else. There was no Mahomes yet. Carson Wentz was that dude, and nobody could even touch him. I still think he had a good case for MVP. But as of right now, I'm confident in my dude, Carson Wentz. I will put him at number 4 on the list. Let me know down below your top 5 quarterbacks. Go let me know right now. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. We'll definitely keep grinding out this Eagles content. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.